How's it going, everyone? So, gonna speak to you real quick about 5 reasons you're probably not seeing results in the gym. 5 super simple, super common, and things you can make a small change and you'll be seeing those results again. So, number 1, reasons why you might not be seeing results. Are you doing the same routine you've been doing for the last 2 to 3 months? So, number 1, the definition of insanity: doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Now, this can go 2 ways. Let's say you did a program for 4 to 6 weeks and you got great results, and now you're still on that same program. Naturally, you're going to stop seeing those results because your body has adapted to what you just did for those 4 to 6 weeks. Let's say cardio looked this way, weights, your rep range or what you were lifting looked this way, so your body has adapted to that. So one way to change it is just increase the weight and kind of change the time you were doing on your cardio. What's even better again is just changing it up altogether. Let's say you were doing a barbell bench press, and you're getting really strong at that. Great. After a few weeks, change up, like maybe you're doing using 2 dumbbells instead of that barbell. You've changed it slightly, or maybe you change how you do your reps. You change your rep range, you do the negative parts of the rep. Something changes. Either the exercise, you can still work chest in other ways, or the modality changes, which will, even though you're doing the same movement, the modality has changed, so your body is now working from a different way. So if it did work for 4 to 6 weeks, great. Change it slightly. Like I said, increase the weights, change your rep range, target the same muscle groups from different angles, and then continue going forward. If it didn't work, why the hell are you still doing the same thing expecting for it to work? So in that case, you got to change up everything, which will kind of fall into point number 3. We'll get to that in a minute. Point number 2, why you might not be getting results: you're not eating. So simply, everyone wants to look like an athlete, right? So they look like an athlete, so they train loads and then they start eating less, right? So no athlete does that. If an athlete wants to perform, they train a lot and they eat a lot. That doesn't mean they overeat, but they eat. So everyone has probably heard of, if you want to lose weight, you have to create a calorie deficit, which is true. So let's say this is us in the middle. We're not moving much and this is what we're eating. This is our body not changing at all, okay? If we add exercise to the mix, that brings our calorie expenditure up here and our intake is still down here. So we've just made a deficit right there. Maybe that's 300-400 calories, okay, which is perfect. But most people do this: I'm going to exercise more and eat less. So now all of a sudden they've created a massive deficit, maybe of 700-800, which is not maintainable. Like for 2-3 days maybe, but after like a week to 2 weeks, your body's had enough of that, and that's where those kind of binge cravings come in, and that whole hit a wall and eating all sorts of shite on the weekends and all of that. Think of it this way: you want your body to grow and adapt. If you're training, you need to feed it. If it's starved, that training is just actually going to take from you rather than give to you, because you're not getting enough energy in for your body to replenish everything that it's been going through in that training session. Think like of a race car, right? A race car needs to perform really good on a track. So you take care, you change its oil, you take care of its tire pressure. You don't feed it dirty, horrible fuel you took out of another car. You feed it the fuel it needs, and then it performs well in that race. So think of your body like a race car. You gotta fuel it the right way. And again, fueling it the right way doesn't mean over fueling it or overeating or anything like that, so don't be afraid of that. But you do need fuel. So not eating enough is always a very common factor. Like I said, just think, if this was you and you've started exercising more, you've created that calorie deficit, but typically that's followed with I'll train more and eat less. and that's created such a big deficit that is not maintainable. It's the sort of deficit that fighters do when they're trying to, week of the weigh, and they're like very, very strict on what they're eating, and you've seen them on the scales. They barely get on the scales, and then they've made weight, but that lifestyle is maintainable for about a week. Not as a lifestyle going forward, especially not if you want to look good and feel good. Point number 3, are you being honest with your training? This is a massive one. What does your training hour look like? I see a lot of people not really pushing at any sort of pace. They'll come in and let's say they're doing bicep curls, right? They're not overloading the muscles. They're using the same weights for the same 6-7 weeks solid. There's no progression there. And I get that there's times where you use certain weights and rep ranges, but I don't think that this is these people. I think it's a lack of knowledge rather than a specific, training for endurance, speed, power, strength, all of that. So that hour, most people are kind of training for body composition, right? To lose a bit of weight and get a little bit of muscle and feel good. So, totally lost my train of thought there. Yeah, what does that hour look like? If your heart rate hasn't risen at all, if you're not challenging yourself, nothing changes. So, that heart rate needs to increase in that hour. If you're on your phone every other rep, checking Instagram and all that, big distraction. So people are like, oh yeah, I did four sets of a bench press, a lat pull, and let's say shoulder press. But those sets were like warm up weight, if that, the whole time. Like you gotta push yourself for that hour. Really, really challenge your body. Push it to the limits. You've got that comfort zone line, right? Just push just past it, and then that line will keep getting further and further. That's how you get fitter and get stronger. Be honest with how your training actually looks. Are you doing something in an hour that might actually take 30 minutes if you were doing the proper rest and not getting distracted, talking to people on the phone, taking selfies or whatever? So kind of assess how hard you're actually working in the gym, and see what you can do with that. Number 4, are you being honest with your diet? This is a huge one. So a lot of people think eating healthy is different than eating for fat loss. Eating healthy is different than eating for healthy muscle gain. If you want to lose weight, number 1 rule, you have to be in a calorie deficit. But now, in saying that, if you eat 5 protein bars a day, right, and they're 250 calories each, so your calorie intake is pretty low. That's 1250, right? Your calorie intake is below. It's too far below. So let's say you eat 1500 calories worth just in protein bars, right? So your calorie intake is at an all right place if you're not doing any crazy exercise. So yeah, you're getting protein in that, great, but not a lot much else, like nutrient wise. Think like to operate, like for your body to really operate and for you to be fit and healthy and all of that, like you need all the nutrients, right? You need fats, you need carbs, you need fruits, you need veggies, you need protein, you need minerals, you need everything, and protein bars don't have all of that. So just cause they're not candy bars or they're not like fried food, they're still not, they're great as a snack here and there, but not like have a look at your daily diet. Are you getting all the nutrients you need? Are you getting the right sort of levels of fats, carbs, proteins, etc.? Fruits and veggies. Don't avoid anything. Like, don't kick something out of your diet and be like, well, I'm never eating fat again, never eating carbs again. Your body needs all of it, especially if you want to have a sustainable diet that you're not You can go out randomly for a lunch on Wednesday and you don't freak out thinking you've gone off track from your diet. You know how to be like, okay, I'm out. Let me look at the menu and see what I want to get for my lunch. So that's one way to be honest with your diet. And then you got people. So you've got kind of the honest in a way, like my calories are good, but what you're putting into your body is not good, not sustainable. And then you got the other people that are like, oh yeah, like calorie intake is way over, but they have no idea because they're not counting. They get mad fancy name coffee from Starbucks, but they didn't put sugar in it. But if you think if it's made with any of them syrups, you might as well just like lick a fucking bowl of sugar, So yeah, look at what you're eating and drinking all day long. More so what you're drinking, like these fruit juices that come in a bottle, like pre-made. 9 out of 10 are worse in terms of calorie and sugar than like a can of Coke, So yeah, it's natural sugars and all of that, but it's still a high sugar intake for one drink. So stuff like that. People will drink coffee and think like the milk, that doesn't count as calories, but it does. So little things like that. Condiments, some have a sneaky amount of sugar and are made with all sorts of mad chemicals, and some don't. So just kind of heightening your awareness of what is in these different sauces and like salad dressings and all of that. That's a big one that people forget about. Like they'll be like, oh, I had a healthy lunch, I had a salad. And then if you actually look at some dressings, some are great, some are perfect, some are terrible, but you think you're eating leaves, so you're good. So yeah, being honest with your diet, really look at what you're eating, is a big thing. People are like, oh, I'm eating healthy, and they'll tell me what they're eating, and I'm like, all it is like a lack of knowledge, so they're doing the right things. They're training, they're trying to eat good, but I would say like listen to some podcasts about what you need to eat for the goals that you have, because in terms of fitness, what you eat for muscle gain, what you eat for performance, what you eat for marathons, what you eat for sprints, what you eat for weight loss, like all very, very different approaches to nutrition. So it's never a one size fits all deal with nutrition, and it takes time to really experiment and figure it all out, So then number 5, fifth reason you're probably not seeing any results, most overlooked in everyone's lifestyle, recovery. So people think the hard work is done in the gym. I mean, physically, yeah, it's hard, but like the results you're chasing, that'll happen when you're recovering, which is when you're snoozing, and like taking days off as well. You see people train 8 days a week because they're just really trying to chase these goals. You can't chase it that way. It happens over time. It happens when it happens. So making sure you're taking one day to recover, like where you're not overloading your muscles or pushing your body too hard. You can still move around, but just get used to listening to your body and how it's feeling. So anyway, number 1 tip for recovery, eat and sleep. That's how you're going to be getting, that's how you'll recover and finally start feeling like you're seeing results with your training. So just think at nighttime, that's when most of it is happening. That's when your body's repairing itself and all of that. So look at your nighttime routine. Just because you're in bed and eyes are closed doesn't mean you're having the best quality of sleep. And I used to be the worst at this. I'd be on my phone like to the second before my head hits the pillow. Half of it would be like work emails, half of it would be like writing stuff down that I need to do, and half of it would be like just flicking through Instagram. And then so that's like stimulating my brain like mad. And then I turn the lamp off and I lie there and like tick 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 tick. And even if I'm asleep, that is just put a bunch of noise in my subconscious. So Now when I'm asleep, my body is stressed, like over all these things swimming around my brain. So having a nighttime routine is huge, and it can be as simple as half an hour before bed, I will not look at my phone. Okay, and you'll get a nice little routine of that. And then you like step it up one bit. Half an hour before bed, I will not look at my phone, and I will read a book, or like, again, it can't be like crazy stimulating book. I will stretch, I will meditate, I will like spend quality time with my pets or my kids. Like I've done a post as well before about nighttime routines. So anything that's just gonna calm you down and get you in a good place and set your body up for a nice sleep. So like knocking caffeine on the head by like 2 p.m. ish. I'm not actually an expert on caffeine, but if you look online, like anything later than 2 p.m., even though you might feel tired, it's in your body. It's keeping your body up in ways that you have no idea. So yeah, your body can't be stressed going to bed. Your mind can't be stressed going to bed. If you are a highly stressed person, something I think Tony Jeffries encouraged me to do is like do a brain dump. You just, whatever's swimming around, just write it all down. What I really need to do tomorrow, X, Y, Z, right? Get that written down. It's out of your mind. You've got it written down. You can see it. You can pick it back up tomorrow. Like, yeah, anything that's on your mind, just let it go. Write yourself 5 things you know you need to do tomorrow, and then you've gone to bed already like ahead of yourself for the next day. So yeah, recovery is huge. And another thing on this, people, you know, there's a lot of stuff on the internet as well, and people always have their opinions, like no carbs before bed. If your calorie intake is where it needs to be for, we'll say, for weight loss, fat loss, right? And your meals have been where they need to be. I mean, if you train later in the day, like if you take a class at 7 or 8 p.m., carbs before bed is going to be actually be doing you a favor. It's going to help you sleep, and it's going to help repair your body that literally less than an hour or 2 hours ago was just like put under stress. So carbs are not the enemy, especially not at nighttime. If anything, they'll work in your favor depending on your lifestyle. So yeah, just check out your nighttime routine. Are you setting yourself up for a stressful sleep, or are you setting yourself up for a nice relaxing sleep? If you have any questions, you can let me know. Leave them in the comments, shoot me a message. And I tried to keep this as a 5-6 minute video, and here we are at 18 minutes. So if you've stayed this long, thank you very much.